Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling. Welcome to Wrestling History X, where three friends come together to talk about the stories behind the matches. I'm Matt.
I'm a 220-pound mountain of jellyfish.
And I'm Shane Sparky Plug.
Oh, I forgot to wear my Sparky Plug shirt.
Welcome to episode 110, Royal Rumble 1994.
30 participants.
In your living room.
We're here in your brain's living room, your ears.
Yes.
Your ear holes.
Yeah.
Yes. The side windows to your head house.
The side windows to your head house. Oh my God, that's great.
This was the 7th annual Rumble produced by the WWF. It would take place on January 22nd, 1994.
Day after my birthday.
Woo!
From the Providence Civic Center in Providence, Rhode Island, with an attendance of 14,500 people.
Keeping it trucking.
Is that like the entire state of Rhode Island?
Right?
Wow. January 22nd. Hey, that's the day after my nephew's birthday, too. What year were you born?
87.
He's an 88.
Oh, wow.
Twinsies!
That's right.
Well, yeah.
Almost.
What's our sign? I don't follow that stupid shit.
Who cares?
Yeah, that's how I feel.
I want to say I know his stone was a garnet.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I think it's a fish.
That was a
Pisces?
No. Maybe. I don't know.
Is Aquarius?
It's not Aquarius. It's not Aquarius. It's the other one with an A. I don't know.
I don't know. The whole Aquarius thing confuses me because the whole
don't-
song thing and it's from hair or whatever.
Like, literally a few years ago, those all, like, a few of them changed.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
They
dates.
shifted and they're just
Yeah,
wrong.
the moon got its period and everybody bought a crystal about it.
Yeah, it was just wrong. I've always been a Leo Virgo cusp, August 23rd. Most of the times it's in the Virgo side, but oftentimes it will appear
So you know
as
this
the
stuff?
last day. Not really, I just know mine.
Okay.
My dates, just because when that whole thing came out, everybody was trying to tell me I was like a Libra or whatever. It's like, bullshit.
I remember one time I was at like
I'm a virginal lion, damn
my friend's wedding, and another guy that I'm like not as close friends with, but like his girlfriend was there, and
I mean, it was wedding. It was
wedding.
probably his fiancé.
Yeah, no, it wasn't the guy getting married. It was a group of people we were talking, and somehow it came up that like signs or whatever, and she asked me when my birthday was, and she's like, "Oh yeah, we won't get along," and I'm like, "Bitch, you don't even know me.
Yeah,
like
I
this
hate
is
when people do
bullshit.
that.
You can't judge me on some stupid shit about the fucking moon. What
that.
are you, a Christian weirdo? Shut
Oh,
up."
you're a Virgo,
Yeah.
aren't you?
Oh my gosh, it
Yeah,
makes me
I
so
am.
mad. Just be nice. If you don't
That's
like me,
right.
that's fine. I don't care if you don't like me, but don't cast aspersions, ma'am.
That's right.
But you know what we do care about?
Wrestling.
And food.
Yes.
From Rhode Island.
From Rhode Island. Our first venture to Rhode Island. And we had to do like the Rhode Islanders do.
It was like Romans. We did like Romans.
I did what I normally do, and I jumped on the old internet and looked up what the hell do people eat in Rhode Island. And there was a
Come to
wide
find out they're
variety of
trash
stuff.
people.
They've got hot wieners. They've got frozen lemonade. They've got fried dough. But,
So
you know,
they're basically like a weekend fair.
kind of. I mean,
It's
I
fast
told
fair.
you
You just
they're
said all
I
fair.
literally just said trash people. And I'm not lying.
I don't know anything about Rhode Island. Is Rhode Island like the south of
The
of
Northeast.
the Northeast?
I know it's
The
Yes.
south by Northeast.
I know it's small. I know Family Guy takes place there, and that was about all I knew about Rhode Island up until I did my little dive, and I figured, it's kind of coastal, so you want something seafoody, and that was totally not where I was going with it originally. I looked up what their sandwich was, and it was kind of boring. It was just an Italian grinder. We've all had Italian sandwiches everywhere, and then I looked at their drink, and it was the cabinet coffee or coffee cabinet or something like that. Basically, it's coffee ice cream with coffee syrup and milk blended together, so it's just like
disgusting.
an extra.
You don't like
kicked-up
coffee ice cream?
Shake.
No.
Oh.
I'm a fan.
Well, see, I'm almost wishing I would have got both of them because that would have come in.
The
handy
coffee
with a
could
nice
have.
little zing of caffeine and a nice cooling effect. Because what I did decide on was Rhode Island style calamari. It's pretty good. Haven't ever had it before. It's your typical battered and fried calamari tossed with roasted garlic butter and some sliced cherry peppers. This one has a variety of different peppers. I think there's some jalapenos. There's
Pepperoncinis?
Some pepperoncinis. There's
Red
some
onion?
pickled onions in there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's got a good crunch. It came with a big chunk of lemon to squeeze over the top of it, so you got a nice little citrus kick to go with the heat and the punch of the garlic. We went to, right here in Oklahoma City, Pearl's Oyster Bar over in the Class and Curve area. Beautiful little spread for a takeout of calamari. It's a big fat portion of it and reasonably priced. And we split it up
it's
between
like
three people, and there's still some left over for me to take home afterwards. So
It's a huge salad of spicy pickled peppers.
yeah, but it's very pretty. Yeah, lots of greens and purples and
A little red.
yeah, the golden color of the calamari. So it doesn't come with your sauce like you get at a lot of places with marinara or some sort of aioli, because this one has the garlic butter in there that they toss it all in, so it soaks up a nice deliciousness.
Providence has the most number of donut shops per person in the U.S.
Weird.
Oh,
I'm
this
glad
is-
you didn't bring more donuts. That was rough.
This is actually
It's hard to eat a donut or two and then talk.
This is actually the official appetizer of Rhode Island as well.
The headquarters of Hasbro Toys is in Providence as well.
Oh. Got like
Remember there was a show called Providence. I never watched it, but I remember it was on because there was a chick from a soap opera that used to be on when I was a kid. Yeah, so iconic Rhode Island foods. Cold pizza strips.
ugh,
They're
I hate those.
cheeseless. It's just like meat and sauce on
cold though.
cheese sticks.
I love cold pizza.
I do too, but cold pizza
red
strips
sticks.
is not a good. That's not a good way to sell something. Would you like some cold pizza strips?
Oysters.
I'll say
Clams
yes, but do I have to
Casino,
pay?
Stuffies.
What's Clams Casino? Isn't that like clams baked with like stuffing in them? I know it's a pretty
far,
interesting
It
producer.
doesn't say what
Where
it
it's like
is in the
slots
sauce
and you
bar
just you never know what you're going to get.
here.
Is it cooked? Is it not cooked? Is there a
Um,
cherry in it?
I don't remember what the hell Clams Casino has.
It's all right. We'll go
Clam
back to Rhode Island.
cakes, basically like a little clam fritters. Johnny cakes, offals.
I think we've given Rhode Island too much time.
Hey, it's little,
Little shittily.
yeah.
Well, it's not a little shittily. Something that happened right around the same time as this show.
World War 1994.
The debut album of Jimmy Eat World.
Soft serve.
Nah,
Sugar on the asphalt.
I don't.
Our hearts. Well,
That's not on that album.
no, I know, but it's one of the songs that I know. I'm not super familiar with all of the Jimmy Eat World catalog.
And POD would both be released the next week.
We are the youth and we're Asian.
That would also not be on their first album.
I know. I know. Those are the albums that I'm familiar with by these two groups. But I don't know the early stuff.
Michael's basically saying that these two bands, their first albums were not their.
Yeah.
They're not the albums that made them popular.
They might be their best albums, but they're not when they broke into mainstream radio.
Exactly.
Where both these bands broke into mainstream radio in 2001-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had to look up POD. Like, I don't remember listening to them in 1994, and then realized, okay, they were a Christian rock band.
They were
so I
on
didn't
Tooth
hear
and
them
Nail
better.
in '94. Don't think that's true,
I
but
think
might
they're
as
still
well
on
be.
Tooth and Nail. But they're friends with Rey Mysterio, so because they do
Wow.
his theme song for at WrestleMania.
I don't remember which one it is.
28,
Shane's supposed to be the one that
20,
helps me out with
27?
these things. I don't remember which one.
24? I don't know.
But they perform live.
I'm going to guess
For all the marbles.
21.
Sounds like a good number to me.
Yeah.
I have no clue. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of both these bands. I mean, obviously, their first albums are not their. are not their best albums, as you would say.
Yeah, I mean, I know a handful of Jimmy Eat World songs, and I should be more familiar with them, considering I do like some of the like early '90s emo stuff. I love me some Braid and what have you, but never really went into the Jimmy World. POD, never quite the fan, but that like what is it, Southtown or whatever? That song kind of honks.
22.
Hey, you were close.
Yeah.
Same date, 22, is the show, January 22nd.
Hey.
But yeah, Jimmy Eat World, Bleed Americans, probably their best album. Futures, the album that came right after, was pretty good. They kind of fell off after those two albums.
I mean, they have a huge fan base.
They do.
It's one of those things, like, I don't know what of theirs is good and not. I know the singles, and I enjoy them, but I never did the deep dive. There's so much shit out there. I'll get into it eventually.
Yeah, POD, probably the last big thing they did really was the Rey Mysterio theme song. Yeah, because like they kind of just
they had a very quick moment in like in mainstream radio.
Well, let's see if Royal Rumble can stay on in the mainstream.
Let's do it.
We get highlights projected onto a building.
I know this is such a classic '90s wrestling thing, and it's like the first time we see it. Like the Nitro intro. Is faces on buildings at some point, right?
Yeah.
It's like they're just projecting onto walls is a big thing for wrestling intros from here on out, I'd imagine.
And then we get the logo appearing in the sky. Vince McMahon welcomes us to the show. He goes over some of the matches, and then he is joined by the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase for commentary.
Yeah, Ted DiBiase comes out and throws dirt on the name of John Madden because he's got more money. Like, so it sounded like John Madden just got like a really big deal for commentating or something.
I was like, is this when his
I think
video game contract kicked in?
I think he moved from CBS to Fox.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. I mean, they were just doing a current event type of thing.
Yeah, basically making fun of the pitiful contract that he signed.
Yeah, and this is... I mean, Ted's been in every Rumble. This is the first one he's sitting out.
Yep.
And the first time he's done commentary on a show. And I'm like, Vince McMahon and Ted DiBiase on commentary? And my heart just cracks a little.
Yeah, it sounds like
it just cracks a little. I like Ted, but he's not as goofy or funny. Decent heel.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if
Vince McMahon is not Gorilla Monsoon.
No. I don't know if he has everything it takes to...
You can't buy your way out of this one, Teddy.
Money doesn't buy everything.
No, it sure doesn't.
Or does it? We shall see.
Yeah.
So we're off to our first match. Tatanka versus Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bam. Bam.
With Luna Vachon. And this match was originally supposed to be Ludwig Borga instead of Bam Bam. But he was out with an injury, and he would never return to action.
You know what's cool?
That we don't have Ludwig Borga here?
Yeah, because who doesn't love Bam Bam, especially with Luna by his side? Yeah. This is the good stuff.
He had a
Tony,
short run. He took his hate elsewhere.
Oh, Tony Hallman, yeah, real scumbag.
So Bam Bam charges in, but Tatanka avoids and a slugfest breaks out.
Straight in for the splash. Bam Bam starting hot.
Until Bigelow hits a dropkick. Charges in again, only to receive a clothesline. Multiple shoulder blocks, a dropkick, and a crossbody before the Native American goes to work on the arm. Tatanka catches Bam Bam telegraphing with a DDT. Goes up top for a flying body press, but Bigelow moves out of the way. Bam Bam takes control with an avalanche splash in the corner. Irish whip, and charges into a big boot, allowing the Native American to go up top for a flying sunset flip. But Bigelow just sits down on him to crush him.
This is what I call the drop dead ass. I wonder if he has the same flame tattoo on his head as he has each cheek.
Drop dead ass, Berry Park.
Very good. Beast from the East, New Jersey man.
Falling headbutt, drop kick, and a bear hug from Bam Bam, but Tatanka finally escapes with clubbing blows, followed by hitting a power slam for a 2 count.
In the last episode, we talked about how they worked Hawk's back, and then did the bear hug, and that was good. This was a poorly applied and unnecessary bear hug that was bad.
Yeah.
So that's all. I just wanted to point out that we talked about what a good bear hug is, and then now we have a prime example of a bad bear hug. Even with big guys.
Both men are running the ropes, and they both go for a crossbody. So we get a double KO.
That crossbody spot looks awesome. It's a hard spot to pull off.
Which way are we going with this?
It's hard to pull that spot.
I was on the edge of my seat waiting to find out what he thought.
That's hard to pull that spot off, and they fucking did it, and it was like picture perfect. Between these two guys with their body like shapes and sizes, this was the perfect double crossbody spot. I loved it.
Bigelow is up first, and he slams the Native American's head into a turnbuckle, only for Tatanka to no-sell and start up the war dance. Bam Bam then hits an enziguri to the back of the Native American's head to stop the dancing.
Oh yeah, he's like, this is whack, and he's right, and he takes care of it for all of us.
And he follows that up with doing a little bit of dancing himself.
I know. There goes my hero. Watch him as he goes.
Bigelow goes up top, coming off with a moonsault. But Tatanka moves out of the way.
No.
Climbs up top himself to come off with a flying crossbody for the pin and the win.
So I guess we're building Tatanka back up. The Bam Bam is like, Bam Bam moonsault. We're like, cool. He's like, yeah, but you're not going to hit the moonsault. And he must have been like, tomorrow's going to suck.
Fucking Tatanka.
It's a nice fucking start. Quick, big spots, big boys.
Vince then sends us to a video package. And we see footage from the Survivor Series where Owen Hart had run into Bret, sending him into the guardrail and allowing Shawn Michaels to pin him, making him the only Hart to be eliminated during the match. And he was not very happy, getting into it verbally. We then go a couple weeks later, and Vince is interviewing The Rocket on Superstars. And Owen starts ranting about being in the shadow of the Hitman before challenging Bret to a match.
Tired of living in the shadow.
Hitman would respond on another episode of Superstars, saying, "People would love to see it.
He's never ducked a challenge.
That's why I can say I'm the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. But under no circumstances would I ever step into the ring with my own brother."
I mean, can you argue with it?
You got 14 brothers. You've wrestled with them more than enough.
But that was in the dungeon, baby. What's in the dungeon stays in the dungeon, baby.
Yeah. You did it where you kicked their ass and, took out teeth and stuff. Here,
This is real.
you just give it to the people, Bret. Come on. Quit being selfish.
Another week, another Superstars, and we see Bret and Rocket together in the back. They have sat down and resolved their issues. Maybe they'll never find out who the better wrestler is, but they're going to channel their energies towards the Quebecers and tag team gold.
They're better together, baby.
One more highlight is from Raw a week later, and the Quebecers would lose the titles to 1-2-3 Kid and Marty Jannetty.
One thing, in that moment where they're like, oh, we'll be better together, 1994 is going to be our year, Owen does a little brotherly love, light fist to Bret Hart's chin, and it is chef's kiss perfect. Bret doesn't oversell it, but it just continues to sow the seeds in the way we want the way we love WWF things to build. Is to this point still the Mega Powers is probably the best way they've ever really built anything long term or whatever, but this is using that kind of subtlety.
Yeah.
And subtlety with a hammer, you know what I mean? It's like it might be a mallet, but it's a rubber mallet.
Then we see that the Quebecers would win the titles back at a Madison Square Garden house show next week.
Yeah, only a couple days before this, I think.
Exactly. We then go back to Todd Pettengill with the Hart brothers, and the Hitman and Owen say they're going to win it and bring the titles home to Mom.
Aw, Helen.
How sweet.
I know. Such sweet boys. Look at those faces.
So we get our second match. The Quebecers of Jacques and Pierre with Johnny Polo versus the Hart brothers of Bret the Hitman and Owen the Rocket Hart for the WWF Tag Team Championship.
Johnny Whatto? Johnny Who-o?
Polo. The champions come out first. Foreshadowing. So Bret's running the ropes, only for Pierre to catch him with a body slam and starts to run the ropes himself, but ends up running into a knee in the gut. Owen's using his quickness to hit a hip toss for 2 before Jacques tags in and looks for a handshake, but the Rocket isn't falling for it. Jacques then telegraphs an Irish whip, allowing Owen to hit a vertical suplex, a drop kick, and an enziguri for a 2 count. The Hitman comes in with a demolition decapitation on Jacques for a near fall, followed by a small package, a sunset flip, and a roll-up, all for 2 counts. Pierre comes in, pummeling both brothers. The Quebecers go to Irish whip them into each other, but Bret ducks, allowing the Rocket to spear Jacques, forcing the Quebecers to roll out to regroup.
Yeah, they've regrouped a couple of times. They hugged once. Polo gives them some water. They're really chicken shit, douching it up over here.
Back in the ring, the Hitman delivers an atomic drop to Jacques, then slingshots Pierre into the ring. Owen comes in with a jumping clothesline, followed by a gut-wrench suplex for a near fall. Bret's back in, only to run into a power slam from Pierre, and the Quebecers take control with double-team efforts. When Jacques hits a back elbow, goes to the middle rope, and coming off, but right into a boot to the face, allowing the Hitman to crawl to the corner for the
Hot tag.
The Rocket goes drop kick crazy on both Quebecers, back body drop on Jacques, belly to belly on Pierre, spinning heel kick on Jacques, and looks to apply the sharpshooter, but Pierre breaks it up, allowing the Quebecers to take over with a double team hot shot. Owen fires up, hitting a double drop kick, making it to the corner for a hot tag. The Hitman comes in with right hands, a drop kick to Pierre, Russian leg sweep on Jacques, backbreaker on Pierre, double knocker to them both. The Rocket grabs Jacques, and Bret goes to come off the ropes, but Johnny Polo separates the ropes, causing the Hitman to fall through to the floor, crashing his knee on the guardrail.
Ooh.
Then what happened?
I know.
The Quebecers start working over the knee, slamming it with chairs and Polo's golf putter. Owen keeps coming over to stop it, but ends up getting tossed into the guardrail as well. Back in the ring, the Quebecers with a wishbone, and Jacques locks on the Quebec crab, which the Rocket breaks up, allowing Pierre to come in with a flying leg drop, followed by more work on that knee, until Pierre comes in off the top with a Jacques-assisted senton, but Bret moves in time. Instead of going for the tag, the Hitman goes to lock on the sharpshooter.
Also that leg drop on the back of Bret's head is on the money.
Mm-hmm.
But he cannot get it applied correctly because of the pain in his knee.
They've been working that knee.
And the ref calls for the bell. The official announcement is ref stoppage due to Bret unable to continue.
It's not
So the
gonna be good.
Quebecers keep the titles.
Set it up, baby. Set them up.
That's
One
Jacques
pin at a
Rougeau.
time.
The Jacques Rougeau always has it out over the Hitman damn near every time. Stole his manager during the tag team days. Stole his Intercontinental belt when Bret was sick. And now
You like the swerve of
twisted his knee.
champions out first?
Yeah, it's great.
I know. It's time. It's time.
Post-match, Owen is angry at the ref,
Oh, he's pissed.
kicking the ropes before turning his attention to the Hitman, yelling at him that he was ready for the tag.
Just tag.
That's all he had to do.
All you had to do was tag.
Bret's struggling to stand up, using the ropes to help himself, when the Rocket kicks the bad knee, knocking the Hitman back to the mat before walking to the back, complaining to the camera that Bret is too damn selfish.
I feel like I said similar words before this damn match even started.
We then see the Hitman being attended to by officials when Ray Rougeau comes into the ring to try and get a word. Pat Patterson keeps shoving him away, but does say that it's uncertain if Bret will be able to compete in the Rumble later in the evening.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, you know what, Pat Patterson? You don't need to be pushing a WWF
Commentator?
What the hell is the word I was looking for there?
Talkie boy.
Yeah. I mean, his brother just took out Bret Hart. What do you think Ray can do to you? You're like 45 here.
You're only 45.
We then go to the back, and Todd Pettingill's there with Owen Hart. And Todd just starts with, "Why, Owen? Why?"
Why? Sorry,
He's nothing but Bret Hart's like, you're nothing but selfish. He says that he's nothing but selfish. You only worry about yourself, and you stripped it away. All you had to do was tag me.
Nothing but a selfish person.
Yes.
I thought I had the perfect partner, but your ego is too big. And as the interview's going on, and it's on the Titantron out in the crowd, the Hitman is being stretchered to the back.
Oh yeah, it's
so
great.
he can see and hear this all.
This is like when WWF fires on all cylinders. It's like they can do it. They just don't put the energy into it. And it's not like you can have every storyline be like this, but it seems like when they hit, they're a little too far. Like, it's few and far between. That's what I'm saying. It's like, you should have one of these going at all times, man.
Yep.
At least try.
And then we get the classic Owen Hart line. "You're too damn selfish, and that's why I kicked your leg out of your leg."
Love it.
I kicked your leg with my leg. I kicked the shit out of your leg. I put my whole heart into the kick that I used to take out your leg. I don't know, but like, yeah, your leg out of your leg, baby.
Not quite ready for prime time. We then go to Vince and DiBiase, and they discuss what just happened. And Million Dollar Man applauds Owen, saying he is just doing what he has to do.
Yeah. You're not going to be a millionaire if you're working for somebody else.
You're not going to get out from under the shadow if you stay behind.
And we're headed off to our third match. Irwin R. Schyster versus Razor Ramon for the WWF Intercontinental Championship.
Is Rhode Island okay with paying their taxes?
I figured it'd be easy.
I heard it's just so funny to me. He's like, you tax cheats, and it's like, what kind of insult is that?
I'm gonna collect the WWF Intercontinental
I guess
Championship because you guys didn't pay your taxes.
Is like, is that like the most evil thing to Vince McMahon is tax cheats, or that he's just paying people to find ways for him to pay less taxes his whole career? So like, what's the angle?
Both.
So the story behind this match goes back to when Money Inc. would make fun of Razor for losing to the 1-2-3 Kid. But these two's hatred of each other was furthered when IRS would steal Ramon's gold chains. So it made it personal.
Chains.
Yeah, because he didn't pay his taxes, so he got his chain stolen. You know why he didn't pay his taxes? Because he sells drugs. He's Razor Ramon. There's razor blades on his pants, and he talks like a drug dealer from fucking Scarface.
Tax-free business, isn't it?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. This whole, like, his whole character is just him trying to get a spot in Carlito's way.
Will Jim Ross and Gorilla Monsoon take over on commentary for the match?
How hard did you guys pop for this?
I was very excited for it, but I also found it weird that you move DiBiase out when his former partner and foe were there.
Yeah, that is true, but like Vince and Ted aren't bad. They're just not very WWF, which sounds weird. They sound more like a really good.
DiBiase just hasn't found his rhythm.
Yeah,
because I don't know.
He's
I don't know if he was on
He's
TV at this point. Was he commentating on TV?
I don't remember.
Maybe Superstars, because I don't think he was on Raw at this point.
I don't remember him being on Raw.
So I mean, just to throw him on a paper. If it was his first time and throwing him on pay-per-view,
I'm sure he's worked some
he
other
wasn't
stuff.
horrible.
He's not bad. It's just that,
But
like...
it's just, after having years of Ventura...
You've listened to this
Heenan,
show. You know how we feel about Ventura. You know how we feel about Heenan. You know we love Gorilla.
It
like,
wasn't Heenan's
I even think Vince is good, but Vince needs a good...
Survivor Series?
Yes.
Yeah, so, Vince needs a Bobby.
This is our first WWF show without Bobby.
Or Ventura.
Yeah.
So it's very much a different...
Those guys are fucking great at what they do.
Ventura's been gone already.
He's been gone for a long time.
But I'm just saying, we literally... when we lost Ventura, we literally got Heenan.
Oh, yeah. So it's like, okay, well...
So we literally have had two of the best heel commentators.
Probably the best one heel commentators of all time.
Yeah.
Like, my two favorites, you can add maybe, like, Lawler in later on, but he's a fucking scumbag.
Yeah.
And, I mean, whatever, Jesse, but Lawler has some deep trenches that we're not willing to go into at the moment. We don't have time for that. This isn't an episode of...
Might cover him a little bit down the line.
We should do like a true crime episode where we do like really high production. Mm-hmm. Shane and I do reenactments and we get the moody music, and Matt do the research about like the case files and stuff. Yeah.
Dark Side of Wrestling.
I guess Dark Side of Ring already took care of it for us. They do a great job, and I can't wait for season 3.
Facts.
So Razor throws his toothpick, and Iris responds with a slap to the face.
Bitch.
Which Ramon comes back with a right hand, sending Schyster out to regroup. Back in, IRS with a head slam into a turnbuckle, but Razor responds with right hands again to send Schyster to the floor. Ramon catches a big boot, turning IRS into an atomic drop and a clothesline for a 2 count once back in the ring. Razor is then tossed over the ropes to the floor, and Schyster follows out to send Ramon into a ring post multiple times. Dragging Razor back into the ring before delivering a body slam, IRS heads up top, coming off, but Ramon gets a boot up, only for Schyster to avoid it, following up with an elbow drop. It was such a weird thing, like, he just, like, stopped.
Yeah, it looked like he just didn't want to take it, but then, like, it's a cool idea, but it doesn't translate very well to the eye and brain, because it's, like, a little kind of quick and weird. Yeah. It's a cool idea for sure, especially it works with 2 guys that are tall, but Razor's taller than IRS, so it would have worked better the other way around. Also love that the crowd, the face is Razor, and the crowd is chanting bad guy, which is so funny and so fucking WWF.
Yep.
Like, it's just, it's so funny. They live in their own, like, terrarium of bullshit. And, like, people, like, when you're in it, it's fine or whatever, and it makes sense, but, like, it truly doesn't make sense. And it's kind of a crazy anomaly. This really kind of points that out in a fun way.
IRS starts working a chin lock, only for Razor to fight out of it with elbows, but runs into a knee to the gut. Schyster then leg drops the groin and goes back to the chin lock with leverage and loads of sweat. Did you, like, literally just, he's, like, holding it on, and you just see sweat just dripping down his face. So
IRS needs he needs to switch to the trunk, just some trunks. Boy needs trunks. Yeah. Too much clothes.
Too many clothes.
Yeah.
There needs to quit hanging out with Regal something.
Again, Ramon battles out, hitting a fall-away slam for a near fall. Goes for an Irish whip, but Schyster reverses it, boomeranging Razor into the ref.
Ref bump.
IRS crawls to the corner, grabbing his briefcase, only for Ramon to avoid and kick Schyster. He then picks up the briefcase and slams it across IRS's head. Makes the cover, but the ref is still out.
No.
Razor sets Schyster up on the turnbuckle for a super back suplex and calls for the Razor Edge, when Shawn Michaels is shown running out to the ring, nailing Ramon in the back of the head with his Intercontinental title belt.
He was like, I'm not giving it up. I'm going to pay the fine. Get your own. I'm going to be a little shithead. I don't know why there's 2 belts, but I love it.
He's the real champion.
Yeah.
IRS crawls over and makes the cover for the pin and the win.
And new.
Schyster is celebrating, Earl Hebner runs down to the ring to fill the original ref in on what transpired.
Oh, the fans are pissed.
While Razor picks up IRS for the Razor's Edge.
Yeah, Fink has the second belt and shows it to him. He's like, see? I got another belt. I love this WWF logic.
Hitting it for the pin and the win. And post-match, we get to see Ramon...
And Stu! Sorry.
Ramon celebrating with both title belts.
Are we gonna combine both IC belts?
Scotty 2 belts.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's where we're headed.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a new kind of match.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I'm very excited to maybe potentially see a new match with a man like Razor and potentially, a fake IC belt holder to really set a standard that's probably never been...
X marks the spot.
Yeah.
JR then sends us to a video package, and we see Paul Bearer in a smoky room while Undertaker is making a double-wide casket.
It's double wide and double deep.
I forgot about these beautiful, corny, tragic perfection.
You know what I was thinking the other day was that, you know how Paul Bearer has his cadence? He does the high voice, but he has a cadence of the way the words come out of his mouth outside of the fact that they're obviously, cracked falsetto or whatever. Kenny Omega does his shit the same way, but he does it low and breathy. I'm just saying. It's very musical, but in a bad way, and he does it low and breathy.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah,
Omega has a weird cadence.
I don't like Omega promos, but
they're different than everybody else.
They're different, but this is it's kind of like Paul Bearer, but instead of high and squeaky, they're low and breathy. And of course, Kenny has 3 different modes of putting them off, but they're always kind of the same musical type of thing. But I was thinking that when I was watching this, and it made me laugh.
We then see Yokozuna in the ring when the dead man gives his season's greetings. And then we go to another highlight of Yoko after a match, and Taker appears on the Tron saying, "I don't make mistakes, I bury them." Great line.
Yoko's face in all of these, he is so terrified. It looks like he legitimately looks terrified. He is doing a great job of legitimately being afraid of the Undertaker. It looks good. He's just he looks like a shocked child. It's incredible.
We then see Bearer opening the casket that Undertaker's been making to show us all a peek inside.
It's a big casket, guys. When Paul Bearer drives off with it in this little wagon or whatever, you can't even fit it on the back of the wagon. It's crooked because it's too wide.
We then see Zuna and his entourage in the ring with Jim Cornette. And Corny says that the contract came back with some fine print, saying the title match would be a casket match. If you haven't been able to figure out where we're headed.
Yeah.
We then get one more highlight that shows Mr. Fuji telling Yokozuna to squash the casket that is outside the ring during a Raw taping.
And I don't even think Jimmy says that casket match. He's some kind of match. He's in a big box. He's really doing a good job. We know he does.
But as Yoko goes to lift the lid, the dead man springs forth from inside, sending Zuna running.
Yeah.
And we head to our 4th match. Yokozuna with Mr. Fuji and Jim Cornette versus The Undertaker with Paul Bearer for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship.
And the crowd is super hot for this. There's Undertaker signs the lights. There's fucking a sign with Yoko, the drawing of Yoko in a casket that looks really nice. And we all know this now as the first BSK brawl. These guys are brothers. But, we know that later. But right now, this is the BSK. That's their, tattoo. Yoko and Godfather and Undertaker. That's, their backyard. Or they're kind of they're the clique. Yeah. But I don't know what BSK stands for.
Or something like that.
But I was just thinking, I was oh, these guys are, fucking best buds. And this rules. But the crowd is so over for this. And that's really cool.
And of course,
It was a hot time.
it's a casket match.
Yeah, this is our third casket match so far. Kamala.
Third, or is it just our second?
It might just be the second. I know there was the Kamala one. I can't think of a second. Yeah, I guess this is the second one. And it's another, big foreign monster.
Yeah.
But the rules for this one, because they're slightly different. Pinfalls don't count. There's no DQ, no count out, no submission. The only way to win is to stuff your opponent into the casket and close the lid. Because I think in the Kamala one, they had to pin them and then put them into the casket.
Yeah, which is like, okay, we'll clean this up a little bit.
And then he hammered the nails in.
Yeah.
But the champion came out first. Foreshadowing. We see Bear roll the double wide casket out to the ring.
Big ass casket.
And the two men have a stare down in the middle of the ring when Yoko just charges at Taker, only to sidestep and slam Zuna's head into the turnbuckle, followed by several jumping lariats, which causes Yokozuna to fall out to the floor before stumbling into the ring post.
Took his ass out of the ring.
Yeah, I know. It's like I was like posted. It's like self-post. I'm scared. It's like I don't know. Yeah, Yoko he's afraid. He believes in ghosts, ghouls, undertakers.
The dead man follows out to the floor only to get slammed into the steel steps, but he no-sells it and returns the favor.
What's funny is that he was slammed into the steel steps by a Samoan, but he was the one that no-sold it.
Back in the ring, Undertaker hits old school. He then goes for another jumping lariat, but Yoko ducks to avoid, sending Taker out to the floor. Zuna follows out and grabs a chair, only for the dead man to block, take the chair away, and use it across the back and head several times.
Oh, it's nasty and it looks good. These are unprotected noggin shots.
Yoko then grabs some salt from the salt bucket, throwing it into the eyes of the Undertaker, allowing Zuna to take advantage, slamming his head into the steel steps again, before nailing him with multiple chair shots.
If you can't see the steps,
Then it hurts.
then you can feel them. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, like, of course the salt spot is great, and him slamming him again, like, this is good shit.
Yokozuna rolls Taker back into the ring, delivers a clothesline before rolling him towards the casket. But the dead man isn't fully in and begins to fire up with right hands back inside the ring.
I guess there's no chant for undead men from hell. He's not undead yet.
Not yet.
I'm sorry. He's just the dead man to me.
Cemetery.
Yeah.
Yoko catches the Undertaker with a belly-to-belly, only for the dead man to sit up, grabbing Zuna for a choke slam and a jumping DDT.
Or as in Japan they call it an uranage. Oh no, that's the rock bottom. Sorry.
Taker rolls Zuna into the casket and tries to close the door, when Crush runs down to stop him just in time,
You stupid mother.
rolling him back in the ring and delivering right hands. Goes for a clothesline that the dead man ducks and comes back with a forearm before knocking Crush out to the floor. The Great Kabuki then comes running into the ring to attack the Undertaker, followed by Genichiro Tenryu, and they go for a double team clothesline. But again, Taker ducks and delivers a double clothesline of his own.
We just saw Tenryu. It was fucking
And
Kabuki.
and Great Kabuki. But I mean, Tenryu had a real showing here.
We got
Or a real
Purple
showing
Karate
over
Pants
there.
crossing over, man. Journey of the Traveling Pants or whatever.
Oh, I never saw that. The Sisterhood of the Traveling
Sisterhood
Pants.
of the Traveling Purple Karate Pants.
Okay. But yeah, I was like, oh, I know where you were like 16 days ago.
Bam Bam
17 days ago.
Bigelow then joins the fray. And I literally was like, now this is how you set up an Elimination Chamber match.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, they don't know what those are yet.
Not yet.
Crush is back in the ring, and it's 4 versus Dead Man.
Crush.
Somehow during all of this, Mr. Fuji has stolen the urn from Paul Bearer. And the 4 men in the ring are attempting to get the Undertaker into the casket, while Yokozuna has finally gotten up from his nap. But Bearer nails Fuji and Cornette from behind and raises the urn high into the air and the dead man comes alive.
Sit up. The shape. Michael Myers. That sit up. So good.
Bigelow grabs the wooden salt pail and attempts to nail Taker across the face with it, but he moves in time, causing Crush to take the blow.
Take that, fucker.
Atom Bomb then makes his way out to the ring.
Oh my gosh.
Where Undertaker nails him and Bam Bam with the pail. And then Jeff Jarrett, who we haven't seen since AWA Superclash 3 episode 23.
Oh yeah, we got Jeff Jarrett in his like.
Ain't I great?
In his bondage, like, the weird bondage gear,
yeah.
The like thing that I did. It's not. I don't know. It's the weirdest singlet, and he's the only one that's ever worn that, right? It's weird.
Yeah.
Double J leaps into the ring from the top rope, only for Taker to catch him by the throat.
It's a rumble of its own already.
The dead man's laying out everyone when the head shrinkers come into the ring to hit a double super kick
of Samu and Fatu,
making it 9-on-1 when Diesel steps into the ring as well.
Love that double super kick though.
Everybody is getting their licks in until they can get Undertaker into the casket. But as Jarrett and Samu close the door, the dead man comes alive once again. Yokozuna steals the urn away from Bearer before nailing him across the head with a clubbing shot. Turns and nails Taker with the urn as well. Yoko then drops it, and all of a sudden, green smoke just starts coming out of it.
It's fucking cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. He hit him with the urn. The urn is like, nah, it's cool. It's green smoke. Yeah. Taker's alive.
I mean, for all the time of Taker, that urn has symbolized some sort of power. There's some sort of magical force that goes on in there.
You get visualization.
Every once in a while, something happens to where you see the power, you feel the power.
They're going all in on this shit, and like, it's not the wrestling that I love, but it's the wrestling that I want the WWF to do well, and they're doing it well right now. This is Scooby-Doo, baby.
Crush hits a brainbuster. Double J with a top rope elbow drop. Diesel with an elbow drop. Top rope diving headbutts from Bigelow and the head shrinkers.
And we were bitching about Hawk no-selling a pile driver, but this is a man with some powers, I guess. It's different.
And the group decides to roll the Undertaker into the casket once again.
What else could they do outside of stab him?
Everyone then dog piles on top of the casket for Yokozuna to win. Post-match, the group start rolling the casket back towards the locker room when smoke starts to exude from it and the lights go out.
Bong!
And a picture of Taker inside the casket is shown on the Tron, where he wakes up and delivers this message. Be not proud. The spirit of the Undertaker lives within the soul of all mankind. The eternal flame of life that cannot be extinguished. The origin of which cannot be explained. The answer lies in the everlasting spirit. Soon all mankind will witness the rebirth of the Undertaker. I will not rest in peace. Lights flicker, an explosion, and we see a body rising to the rafters.
From the glowing Tron and to the rafters, the Undertaker finds his way to the pearly gates in front of our eyes.
Wrote, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yes.
It was essentially like every 50% of operas smashed into 15 minutes, but without songs in different languages.
Yeah, this was the moment that
Vince McMahon
you knew Taker.
He was
the character itself was special.
He's a face. Like, it took all these guys to knock him out. He died and was like, "Yo, I'm coming back."
That they'd never done before.
This is wild.
This was comparable. For 1994, this was comparable to seeing Snuka jump off of the top of the cage in Madison Square Garden, because there'd never been anything like that, and just the reaction that it got from people because it played into that reality supernatural thing that wrestling hadn't really
this moment going over as well as it
perfected.
does is what basically allows Mankind and Kane to be a thing, right?
Yes.
And for them to have
I mean, this thing going over allows the WWF to become a little bit crazier with their gimmicks.
Yep.
Even.
which is a good and a bad thing. It's a
I mean, we thought some of the characters were a little over the top back in the 80s. You know, Coco Beware being a Birdman, that kind of thing. But this allows them to go even more over the top.
Yeah.
But I have two notes. The reason this was done is because Undertaker had a back injury, needed to take a few months off. So I thought this was a great way to send him out and have him
And you
off.
sent him away as like a huge face. It took all those heels to kill him, and then he says, "Fuck you, I'm coming back," and then floats away. And everybody was already on his side when it started. It's like, you already have a star. You just made him a superstar.
Yep. You made him a superstar, and you pushed Yoko that much further into the top heel in the business, because
It took
him and 9 other guys to bury Undertaker, but they did it on his behalf.
Then they also did it out of fear. They were completely terrified of the guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which makes them chicken shit heels too.
And the second note, the person that was being raised to the rafters was Marty Jannetty.
Really?
Yep.
That's
See,
awesome.
that part I didn't know all these years up until reading the notes.
That's funny. I love when Vince McMahon says, "The Undertaker is levitating in Providence, Rhode Island." And I just thought, that's so very Vince. It's so good.
Vince then sends us to some pre-recorded comments about the Rumble.
We don't get them. This is one of the Rumbles where we don't get all fucking 30 guys cutting a promo. We don't get a select few.
Macho Man, Jeff Jarrett, Tatanka, Diesel, Doink and Dink all want that shot at the championship. We then get Shawn Michaels holding his IC title, saying when he wins the Rumble, it will be out with the old, and he throws his belt away.
Yes.
And in with the new champion.
Love the visual of him tossing the belt.
And then Lex Luger has the moment of truth has arrived, the opportunity I've asked for, the opportunity I've waited for, and it's finally here. And then we go back to Vince, and him and Million Dollar Man are discussing Lex even being in the Rumble. Because DiBiase brings up the clause about Luger not being able to challenge for the title again.
Yeah, Ted says Lex had his chance, and Vince
didn't win at SummerSlam 93. Though I was like, he didn't lose. He actually won the match.
Yeah, he got a big celebration for it.
It was just by count out.
Yeah.
So I was like...
Yeah, he got... Steiner celebrated because
yeah.
he could challenge for that belt again.
But then we go to our fifth match. What we're all here for, the Royal Rumble.
Hell yeah.
The Fiend goes over the rules, which there actually is a change this year because each entrant would be in 90-second increments instead of 2 minutes like previous years.
Okay.
And we get number one. Is Scott Steiner, one half of the Steiner brothers.
Wasn't he just
in Japan? But so was Kabuki
Tenryu
and Tenra.
Kabuki.
Very true.
They were on the same plane.
God,
I think it was... The Steiners are probably one of the few people that have ever been able to get something in their WWF contract saying that they can go and work elsewhere, other places.
Yeah, and it's probably also one of the reasons they never use them. The Steiners are known as WCW guys, not WWF guys.
Yeah.
They're famous for their matches in WCW, and they're famous for their matches in Japan, and not WWF. And I imagine that Vince was probably like, "Oh, well, we're not having those matches here, so you guys go do your thing. We're never gonna you're just gonna be middling tag, I guess," which is crazy to think. But they did the same thing with the Road Warriors, and when they came over and Legion had doomed them and they were kind of a
they all
step apart.
got them, Road Warriors, Nasty Boys. They all get a push when they first show up.
Yeah.
Get them the title. They take the title off of them, and then they kind of just all blend into the middle.
Yeah, which stinks. Which kind of it's also kind of a bummer because I would have liked to see Demolition go longer, but they brought in these other guys that kind of like watered it down and like kind of took away some of the like heat from Demolition. And I think Demolition is really good, and that I would have liked to see them have a longer run.
Axe was getting old,
I
and
was gonna say, had they got them a few years earlier, could have had a little bit more.
But yeah, you like when they were at when Demolition was
crushing there. So.
Yeah, when they were at their highest point in WWF is when they bring in LOD, and it's just kind of like, okay, well, I guess the Demolition's done. That's a bummer because Demolition rules.
Yeah,
I mean, I love the Road Warriors as well.
The second entry into the Royal Rumble is Samu, one half of the Head Shrinkers, and he's being dragged to the ring by Alpha.
By his hair. Alpha, be nice.
The men go back and forth until Scott hits a Tiger Driver, but Samu comes back with a clothesline. And number 3 is Rick Steiner, the other half of the Steiner brothers.
Bye-bye, Samu.
And he takes his time walking out to the ring. But
Love the wolves for Rick. I love that Rick is never the main thing, but everybody knows who he is, and he always gets the wolves and the love.
Oh, yeah.
The Steiners begin to work over Samu as Rick hits a belly-to-belly, followed by Scott with a vertical suplex. Steiner line from Rick. The brothers go for a double clothesline, but Samu ducks and comes back off the ropes with a crossbody, only for the Steiners to move, sending Samu over the ropes, where he gets his head stuck before finally falling to the floor.
Oh, it's gross. He like does a crossbody into the ropes and does like the Mankind like head stuck in the two top ropes twisted up. And like it's one thing to do that, but it's another to do it off of a running crossbody. I was just like, oh my god, is he okay?
And Samu is eliminated.
Bye-bye.
Great, incredible bump. Got to give it up to him for that.
Number 4 is Quang. With Harvey Whippleman, better known as Savio Vega, later in his career.
What made them think that this was a character that he needed to play?
I mean, the Undertaker worked.
Yeah, but Quang.
It's not as enticing of a name.
This is like fucking Power Rangers, and that's exactly what it sounds like. Is a Power Rangers villain or something.
It sounds like
Krang
of the Ninja Turtles.
Hey, there was a Krang on there too.
Yeah, the brain in the belly of the big yellow thing that was cool.
Big yellow robot.
Yeah, I can't remember what that thing's name was.
It was just Krang.
Oh, well, okay, so the whole thing was Krang.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, I guess it doesn't have a name, it's a robot. But it looks like
but also in the
Goonies guy.
In the cartoon, he was the only one, while in the comics, it was a whole race.
Oh, did not know that.
Yeah.
I read the like first issue, but in the first issue, Shredder dies and it rules. But I don't.
Spoilers.
It's the first issue.
Everyone knows this.
Yeah, but yeah, I've always wanted to buy those collections, but they always put them out and then they get bought up and then they're expensive. And I'm like, well, one day I'll read the Eastman Laird.
So does Shredder die and then like become contaminated with the ooze and become Super Shredder?
I'm not sure. I just know that the first issue is like 40 pages and they didn't plan on it being a thing, but they printed it themselves and it sold really well. Really good story. Get down a Wikipedia hole. Eastman Laird.
But as soon as Quang is in the ring, he spits green mist into Rick's face. So Scott starts laying it in until he goes to check on Rick, allowing Quang to nail them from behind. Scott hits an overhead belly-to-belly on Quang, goes to check on Rick again, which allows Quang to, once again, nail them from behind. And number 5 is Owen, the Rocket Hart.
Boo! Owen's got the real heat, man. I love that he got fucking some visceral heat in this show and then comes out. Because, like, it's one thing to do it on another show and, like, some people saw the pay-per-view, some didn't, blah, blah, blah. But, like, he gets the real heat. It's good.
Bret Hart is an American treasure, okay? So you take that hate back to Canada.
Canadian treasure.
He's technically Canadian, but...
He's a Canadian treasure, but he's a treasure nonetheless.
That's right.
Owen lifts Rick up and over the ropes, with Steiner holding on for dear life until the Rocket kicks him once too many. And Rick Steiner is eliminated And this would be the last time we see him in the WWF.
Boo. I mean, there's no good place for the Steiner Brothers to go in the WWF, but I just always hate to see my boy Rick lose.
Number 6 is Bart Gunn, one half of the Smoking Guns. And Vince then says something has broken out in the dressing room, and they're trying to get cameras back there. And then we get number 7, Diesel, who starts just going after everybody, tossing Gunn and then Scott Steiner over the ropes.
Oh, and $1 Million Man says, "Oh man, Diesel's so big. He's almost as big as me when I'm standing on my wallet." And I was like, "Okay, $1 Million Man, you're getting that's yeah." Bobby, I would have had like 10 Bobby lines so far in this show, but you got one. You're not terrible.
So Bart Gunn and Scott Steiner are eliminated. And this would be Scott Steiner's last match in the WWF for about 8 years.
Wow.
Diesel then grabs Owen, tosses him out as well, to the fans' approval.
Oh, you know who? Looks like Diesel's kind of strong, guys.
He's big and angry, and somebody's got to stop him.
Mm-hmm.
And Owen Hart is eliminated.
Kind of sad.
Quang goes for a spinning heel kick on the big man, but Diesel holds onto the ropes, grabbing Quang and tossing him out as well, to be the only one in the ring.
That big old fucking clothesline 360 over the top. Damn Diesel.
And Quang is eliminated.
Creating a star here.
Number 8 is Bob Backlund, who goes after Diesel's legs immediately, lifting him up, but he is just too big. And Diesel just overwhelms him, tossing him out. And Bob Backlund is eliminated.
They really almost had me. Like, the way Bob Backlund had him on the ropes and picked his leg, I was like, is Bob Backlund going to put Diesel out? That's crazy, but they really sold Diesel on the ropes really, really well.
Number 9 is Billy Gunn, the other half of the Smoking Guns. And Billy gets a few shots in, but he runs into a big boot before being tossed out. And Billy Gunn is eliminated.
Is Diesel about to go in with, like, the most eliminations?
Maybe. We then go to a shot from the back, where the Great Kabuki and Genichiro Tenryu are beating down Lex Luger.
All right.
I know. I was like, that's cool. I'm fine with anybody beating down Lex, but then I had this thought. Is Lex going to win? They're showing that he's got beat up. Him shining through the adversity. I'm like, I don't want Lex to win. That was my thoughts as well as I was watching. It's the things that came into my mind.
Number 10 is Virgil. And the last time we saw him was at Royal Rumble 93, episode 86.
Ted says he's going to enjoy this. He doesn't have much hope for Virgil. I don't either, but I'm a Virgil lover. The fans still get us. It's not a big pop, but people still like Virgil.
And I still say
I'm Team Virgil.
Diesel just begins tossing Virgil around like the alternate for Kamala that he was, lifting him up and over the ropes. And Virgil is eliminated, and this would be the last time we see him in the WWF.
And Ted DiBiase yells next, and all I could think of was like Goldberg. Wasn't that the Goldberg thing? Next?
Who's next?
Who's next? Yeah, it's like, well, close enough. But I was like, when
next
he yelled
was
next,
more like Elaine yelling at the soup Nazi.
He's done.
Yeah. But I was just like, because he's really going in on some people like Goldberg will in years from now.
The one that he just got rid of was DiBiase's former employee.
Well,
so,
yeah, I'm well aware.
Even more. Next. You stole my belt, bitch. Now you're gone.
But I was just like, he's Goldberging him.
Number 11 is Macho Man Randy Savage.
Everybody, you get the Macho Pop. The Macho Pop that everybody wants, needs.
Macho ducks a clothesline, starts laying it in with right hands, head slam into a turnbuckle, back elbow, and a clothesline before trying to lift Diesel up and over the ropes.
And Diesel looks huge next to everybody, but like we've seen Macho Man so many times.
Yep.
Diesel is so huge. Like, how tall is he? Like fucking 6'8"?
6'8"?
Yeah, he's crazy.
6'9", something like that.
It's fucking crazy how big he is.
Number 12 is Jeff Jarrett, who storms the ring to save the big man, going to work on Savage and tossing him into the turnbuckle. Hits a body slam and comes off the second rope with a knee drop before hitting a drop kick and doing some strutting. Double J then climbs to the top rope, coming off with a flying clothesline before doing some more strutting, and then tosses Macho Man over the ropes, only for Savage to hold on and roll back in to hit a jumping knee into Jarrett's back, which sends him into Diesel, allowing Macho Man to toss the dazed Double J over the ropes.
Oh, Double J.
And Jeff Jarrett is
Struts
eliminated.
to the back.
That's Double J. J-E-double-F. J-A-double-R-E double T. Double J.
And number 13 is Crush.
That was his little promo.
Oh, I know.
Shit back in the day.
I know.
Burning my head still all these years later.
What was it? The rap is crap. How lame was that? Didn't mean to rhyme there.
Hey, Slapnuts. Savage meets the Hawaiian as soon as he gets in the ring, delivering multiple top rope sledgehammers before turning his attention back to Diesel, which allows Crush to recover and nail him from behind. Crush hits a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, Diesel with an elbow drop, and Irish whipped into a Crush super kick, followed by the Hawaiian picking him up and dumping Macho Man over the ropes to the floor.
Pissed.
I know.
And Randy Savage
Boo.
is eliminated.
Boo, boo, boo.
Drop him over the fucking rope.
I
like
know.
He's trash.
I mean,
That's Randy fucking Savage.
at least that tilt-a-whirl was cool.
Number 14 is Doink the Clown with Dink. And Diesel goes after Crush. So Doink just sits back, waiting in the corner, but the two big men soon realize and make their way towards the clown, only for him to spray them both with his flour and starts pounding on them.
It was a little flower squirty.
Doink goes for a body slam on Diesel, but he's just too big, and the two men hit a double clothesline. Number 15, Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bam. Bam.
Bam.
With Luna Vachon. Bam Bam's laying it in on the clown, ends up press slamming Doink over the ropes and to the floor. And Doink the Clown is eliminated. Number 16 is Mabel with Oscar, one half of the men on a mission. Can the ring handle all these big men?
Vince even asks, who knows the tonnage in the ring? And of course we get our patented. Whoop, there it is.
Diesel decides it's time to get serious as he pulls the straps down. And Mabel goes right after the big rig, hitting a pair of avalanche splashes, but Diesel comes back with several clotheslines. Number 17, Thurman Sparky Plug.
First time on the show.
Or as we better know him as, Hardcore Holly, is in as an alternate to 1-2-3 Kid, who is out with a knee injury. We get everybody brawling, trying to throw each other out to no avail.
Yeah, we get the nice, this is okay, we're halfway through. You get the zoom out from the top of the venue down. Looks good. You get the whole crowd. You got to have that shot once in every Royal Rumble.
Number 18 is Shawn Michaels.
There he is.
Diesel looks like he's going to go after Shawn, but they shake hands, allowing Bam Bam, Mabel, and Crush to attack from behind and toss the big rig from the ring.
Woo! Shawn got what he wanted.
Yeah, he did.
Diesel is eliminated, but he would get a round of applause from the crowd.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he just dropped 11 guys.
And that reaction would actually save his job, as he was really not catching on like Vince wanted him to.
I mean, what did you just do? You just had him manhandle so many guys in the Royal Rumble. Of course he's going to get over.
The guy can only get so far being bodyguard.
Yeah, he's not only is he that big, that huge, and he manhandles people like that, but he's not dressed like Tatanka. You know what I mean? It's a thing. You could if you did this with Bam Bam instead, it would have also worked, and Bam Bam's already more over.
So, because of this Rochester crowd, think of the butterfly effects through the world of wrestling. He would get a major push out of this and become Kevin Nash.
Yes.
One of the biggest names in the business.
Yeah.
All because of this Rochester crowd.
Yeah. I mean, they put him in the spot. I feel like that anybody that big that did this clean of a job. Like, it's not like he's fumbling out there, but he's also not fucking Scott Steiner backflip suplexing guys either. He's just powerhousing them. Like, I'd like to think anybody that big, it wouldn't matter.
I mean, literally out of all the people that he eliminated, though, like, the only one that maybe had a shot at anything was Owen Hart.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I mean
I guess
they're all guys.
maybe Macho. I mean, Macho's probably the biggest name that he got rid of.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, like, that's still like a third of the contestants that he dropped. I'd be surprised if it didn't work.
I mean, if he doesn't get rid of Owen and Macho, I don't think.
You don't think that it works?
I mean, I think the Owen thing is what got him the pop.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because everyone hated Owen that much.
I mean, this Rumble is really good because it keeps moving. We haven't got to the thing about Rumbles that I don't like, but we will soon enough.
We started getting some of it.
A little bit.
Number 19 is Mo, the other half of Men on a Mission. And Mo jumps in, helping Mabel out before trying to toss Michaels, only for Crush to make a save. Men on a Mission hit a boomerang Irish whip avalanche splash on Bigelow, while Sparkplug looks to toss Sean, only for him to hang on and skin the cat. Number 20 is Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Oh, my heart rose a little.
He comes in with a bunch of elbows on different people.
Also, Greg gets a pretty good pop.
I mean, it was okay.
I mean, come on.
Happy to see him back. I wonder if he's from there, maybe.
He was a knight last time, and no one knew that he was under the mask. So
Well, yeah, but...
they're thinking maybe this is the first time they've probably seen him in a while.
Very true.
They definitely didn't see him last.
I forgot about
the other
that
time.
part.
They didn't see him before. I didn't know he was under there.
Men on a Mission hit another double team avalanche splash on Bam Bam. Mabel charges in as well, but Bigelow moves to avoid as Crush press slams Sean down to the mat. Number 21 is Tatanka, and he starts working on Michaels before Mabel comes over to help Sean out, holding the Native American, until he moves to avoid HBK's shot so that the Man on a Mission takes the shot. Number 22, the Great Kabuki. Everybody in the ring except for Mo is trying to lift Mabel over the ropes, and they finally get him over, and Mabel is eliminated. Number 23, Lex Luger, who runs down to the ring and starts in on the Great Kabuki, goes after a couple other guys, but then returns to toss Kabuki over the ropes.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh, Luger's out. Bye-bye, half of the field.
And the Great Kabuki is eliminated, and this is his only WWF pay-per-view match ever.
Aww.
It's all fine.
Yeah.
What was he going to do here?
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, he didn't have to know Choppy Pee-Pee.
Thanks for inspiring Uda.
Lex with the clothesline of Bam Bam, Crush with an atomic drop on Luger, Tatanka and Mo trading blows. Number 24, Genichiro Tenryu, who starts to chop the crap out of Lex, slams his head into a turnbuckle while everybody else is brawling with each other.
I know, like, think about this. Here's Tenryu coming out. Like, nobody really knows who this guy's, but he just fucking beat Antonio Inoki to like 28 days ago. It's fucking wild. And then he comes out here. It's like, that's the difference between having the internet and not having the internet, is that he can come over here. It doesn't matter what he does. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter. He's just a hand here.
Number 25 is absolutely no one. Though Vince makes it seem like it was supposed to be Bret Hart, but it was actually supposed to be Bastion Booger. But he was actually unable to compete due to being sick.
It's because I couldn't get a good enough handle on his banana supply.
We then get lots of standing around with the occasional punch or kick.
Yeah, the part of the Rumble that I don't love is where everybody like pairs up and kind of stands around. But they got it all the way to 25 before that happened, and it typically happens earlier. So I think that this Rumble moves really well. And before it hits that point, I think that it takes its time to get to that point more than some other ones we've watched. And I appreciated it greatly.
Number 26, the model, Rick Martel. And we get more brawling between everybody.
Yes.
Number 27, Bret, the Hitman Hart.
Oh, limps to the ring. Big old pop. Big pop, but not as big as Owen's heat.
But as soon as he hits the ring, Crush and Tenryu start working that knee. Number 28, Fatu, the other half of the head shrinkers. Luger gets Crush halfway over the ropes when Bigelow comes to help. Then Sparkplug and Hitman quit hitting each other for a moment to go help as well to get the Hawaiian out to the floor.
I know Vince says that there's 2 people left, but I was like, nobody came out at 25. And then I think that's probably when he lets us know about Bastion Booger after that, because I was like, but wait, there's a guy didn't come out.
And Crush is eliminated.
Woo.
Number 29, Marty Jannetty.
Hit him with the drop kick, Marty Jannetty.
Who runs in, and the Rockers feud is back on. With Marty going for mounted punches, only for Sean to hit an atomic drop and looks to hit the super kick. But Tenryu gets in the way.
Oh, shit.
And
Marty
literally just walks right in front of Sean as he's about to give the super kick.
It's very funny. When Marty comes in hot with Sean, they do the heavy sink rights where they're holding each other's head and both throwing rights, but they're some of the best ones I've ever seen. And it's in the middle of this rumble, but they look fucking awesome.
Michaels resets to give another one, but Jannetty ducks and delivers a super kick of his own before nailing a big right hand that sends Sean flying over to the apron. Marty attempts to vertical suplex Michaels out of the ring, but is blocked, and Sean delivers a suplex of his own in the middle of the ring. Number 30 is Atom Bomb with Harvey Whippleman, giving us 13 people in the ring.
Yeah, as he comes out, Vince McMahon yells, Atom Bomb is going to win the Royal Rumble. And all I could think immediately was, oh man, I hope not. I mean, no, but also, I really hope not.
The hammer with double axe handle on Michaels, Sparkplug trying to get Michaels over when Bret comes in from behind to toss Thurman out. And Thurman, Sparky Plug, is eliminated.
Later, Sparky.
The brawling then starts going on for way too long until Martel rids the ring of Valentine by lifting him over. And Greg the Hammer Valentine is eliminated and would be the last time he would be in a WWF ring for 11 years. Tatanka then ducks a charging model to send him flying over to the floor. And the model Rick Martel is eliminated.
Bye-bye, Ricky.
Atom Bomb with a clothesline of Lex charges in for another, but Luger ducks, sending Atom Bomb over to the floor.
Well, that was quick.
Yeah, it
And
was.
he is eliminated. Fatu hits a super kick on Mo, sending him over the ropes to be eliminated. Bam Bam throws the Native American over to the floor, and Tatanka is eliminated. Marty with an atomic drop and a clothesline on Sean. Luger head slams Tenryu into a turnbuckle. Bigelow whips Lex into a corner and charging in for a cannonball, but Luger avoids, causing Bam Bam to flare flip over to the apron, where Lex clotheslines him out to the floor.
The Bam Bam flare flip, though.
It was great.
Yes, good.
Bam Bam Bigelow is eliminated. Jannetty has Michaels halfway over the ropes, but Sean ends up pulling Marty over with the head scissors to send him out to the floor. And Marty Jannetty is eliminated.
Yeah, he does the head scissors on the outside of the ropes and rolls back in. It's a really nice spot.
Tenryu is head slammed into a turnbuckle by Bret, then is double teamed by Michaels and Fatu, who both telegraph a move, allowing Genichiro to give them a double Naga knocker.
Oh, which may be my favorite spot in the whole Rumble. Tenryu does a double Naga knocker between Fatu and Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels sells it like fucking death. And Fatu no-sells it because he's from a fucking island. And it's fucking chef's kiss perfect. It is the most, they've been, the Island Boys have been no-selling headbutts for 20 years now. And Shawn Michaels sells it like they've been no-selling fucking headbutts for 20 years, and I couldn't appreciate it more.
Hitman Irish whips Fatu, while Lex Irish whips Shawn, so they collide in the middle of the ring. Tenryu goes back to chopping Luger, but Hart comes over to help, allowing them to team up to toss Genichiro out to the floor.
Bye-bye, Ten.
And Genichiro Tenryu is eliminated, and this is the last time we would see him in an American match.
Oh. So we got Lex Fatu Bret, and Shawn are our last four. That's a good last four.
Hitman and Heartbreak Kid square off with each having several near eliminations, only for Bret's knee to give out. Fatu no-sells a face slam by Lex, answering with a super kick, and then goes up top to deliver a falling headbutt. The Head Shrinker and Shawn then team up to vertical suplex Luger over the ropes, but he lands on the apron and fights his way back into the ring, slamming Michaels into a turnbuckle and hitting a clothesline on Fatu.
There's a Fatu picture-perfect super kick in here, by the way.
Hart with a drop kick on Shawn before he and Lex both with Irish whips, but Michaels leapfrogs Fatu, only for them to both run right into back body drops to send them over the ropes, and Fatu and Shawn Michaels are eliminated.
Oh, shit.
And then
Lex and Bret look at each other before starting to brawl.
They're the last one standing.
When Luger picks Hart up to body slam him over the ropes, but Hitman wiggles free, clotheslining Lex, only for it to send them both over the ropes to the floor.
Oh my gosh. He goes with him. He goes to push Lex over, but he put too much behind it and went with him.
some bitch.
The refs start arguing between them about who won the match.
I love the faces of the crowd. They're just like, oh shit.
And Fink makes the announcement. The winner of the Royal Rumble. And Luger's music starts to play.
Boo.
But Earl Hebner is yelling at Howard.
The crowd's
So
booing
the
too.
music
Not just
stops. And Fink starts making another announcement. The winner of the Royal Rumble is... And Bret's music starts. Only for his music to stop as well.
me. Lex is pissed.
The refs jump in the ring with Earl raising Hart's hand.
They're all
Joey
arguing.
Morello raising Lex's hand. When President Jack Tunney comes down to the ring to make the decision that both men have won the Royal Rumble.
I know they show the replay, and from the angle, it's like, well, I don't know. I mean, Lex probably was out first because he's taller. But, like, you know, it looks pretty good.
Do you guys have an opinion on who won?
I mean, I think that since Lex is taller and he went over first, he probably touched, but you can't tell because they don't have the angle.
Yeah, there's no conclusive angle
Yeah.
at all.
Which is nice. It's smart.
But if I have to choose between the two,
Bret.
I'm going to give it to Bret this time.
Yeah. Lex is taller. He went over first.
So
He was ahead
Luger
of him.
and Bret shake hands, even though no one really understands what's going on.
Yeah, Fink's a very good actor here. Lex is just unenthused as hell.
So the story goes that Vince wasn't sure who he wanted to put into the WrestleMania main event. So
I mean, Lex has not done very good for him, but Lex looks
but he's
like
just Hogan.
Yeah, he looks like the kind of guys that Vince has been using for so many years, and then Bret Hart does not. Bret Hart looks like a badass, but he's fucking 6 inches shorter than fucking Lex Luger.
So Vince was literally going to let the crowd reactions tell him who should win.
Well, we know what the answer to that is because it was obvious.
And he was banking that it would be Lex. And this is why they had him get beat down in the back as well, to generate some sympathy for him.
Yeah, so it's like we can really find out. Like he put it in his
cheer for Diesel instead.
Yeah, he put it in both guys' favors, but one of them's a better storyline.
Yeah.
Is Owen Hart and Bret Hart, and plus we all like Bret Hart. What's not to like about Bret Hart? He's a good face.
There are also reports from people at ringside that Luger did hit first.
I mean, I watched it a few times more than the replay, and like you can't see the feet, but the general vibe by looking at it, like just doing the physics, doing some simple geometry, it's pretty obvious that Luger had to have been the first one to touch the floor.
Sorry, Lex. You just kind of don't belong here.
Lex just doesn't care about wrestling. You know who cares about wrestling a whole lot?
Bret Hart.
Bret fucking Hart.
Yeah, who cares possibly even more than Bret? Owen.
Vince says his goodbyes as we get highlight photos from the show. So I ask you, gentlemen, what are your overall thoughts of the Royal Rumble 1994?
Great show, great Rumble. Come on. It's good shit. This is like WWF fucking just firing off a good show. They're doing the goof. They're doing the like angles, and the Rumble didn't get bogged down until pretty late. When a lot of the times it seems like it gets bogged down a little early with the too many people in the ring business. But Diesel using that spot to get Diesel over made the Rumble
Which
a
I
little
still
more
think
brisk.
is unintentional.
Yeah.
I literally don't think they were intentionally trying to get him over.
It seems crazy that it wasn't intentional, but it is what it is, and I think that it helped the flow of the match.
Perhaps.
Kind of the same. Several matches that I enjoyed. The Rumble itself moved quickly. There were some nice surprises in there. There was a few little, alright, this is enough moments.
Yeah, but I mean, that's every Rumble.
Taker Yoko match has stood out in my memory forever and ever just because it was one of the most unique endings for its time and shit still to this time.
It's one of those things like we saw WCW try to do some wacky shit and it just fucking sucked. And then here it's like, oh, well, you can make it work.
Where they're trying to do too much of the cinematic shit right now. What they did back then worked perfectly with just the little
This is cinematic
thing that
and
they did
live
for it.
because... and like,
Yeah, that's why, granted, I know they're doing the cinematic stuff more now because of the no audience, so they can do a little extra, but it takes away that sense of reality when it's a scene from Friday the 13th with bikers. And
yeah.
So I was really enjoying this show until the Rumble, as I thought the entire undercard was really well worked.
It's great.
And progressed storylines.
Yes.
And everything.
One of the better undercards of a Rumble probably show too.
The Rumble itself, I felt, was plotting. And if really not for a couple of people's work in it, mainly, Shawn Michaels, Bret at the very end.
I think Fatu did really great.
Diesel at the beginning.
Yeah. Honestly,
I would have considered the Rumble just bad.
I liked it because I felt like it.
We can all have it.
Yeah, it's fine, but it's not as exciting because it's a lot of guys that are just like whatever. But
I mean,
I think that it moved well.
I said it a while ago. Who did Diesel eliminate?
Doesn't matter. It's that he did it. Who's his star here? Who's a star here?
Shawn.
I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't. It didn't put him over in my. I'm like, he's bigger than every single person,
Yeah.
and he was like literally. If they had 13 people in the ring and he starts eliminating everyone, that's one thing. But he literally was one on one. It's this.
Do you
it's
think
the
that's
same
because
thing,
of like
it's the same thing Lesnar did, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's impressive. I get it. It's impressive.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like he's one on one. He's bigger and badder than
But
everyone
nobody knows. But like
that
this
walks
guy's a
into that
nobody.
ring.
So like he's a nobody, but he's big. So it's like.
But he's still
oh.
bigger than everyone.
Yeah, but he's a nobody, so it's like surprising.
I mean,
It's Vinny Vegas, man.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but I don't know. I like the Rumble match, all right. Also,
and the plotting stuff, like you said, it took forever to get to that point. But once it did get to that point,
it went on.
It went on.
Yeah, but there's
forever.
sometimes that happens at number fucking
'Cause,
13 or whatever, and this started at number 25. So that's my.
But
reason.
the thing is that even there was 13 people in the ring when 30 came out, and it literally there was not another elimination for 5 minutes.
Yeah, they did it well for half the
Like,
match, which is pretty good because normally it's.
Don't give me 13 people in the ring ever.
Yeah, but we've had that
Ever.
most Rumbles for probably longer than we do in this one. Yeah, I don't know. I liked.
That's why I was plotting.
Yeah. Also, I want to big up Sparky Plug because they didn't put any fucking. They didn't really pay much attention to him, but if you paid attention to him while you're watching the show, he was really great in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was good.
Yeah, so looking at the top, or the final 10 of the Rumble, you got Tatanka, you got Kabuki making a once-in-a-lifetime appearance, or I guess twice because he showed up in the Undertaker match. Luger, which they were trying to force down people's throat. Tenryu, which most people didn't know. Nobody for Bastion Booger.
I mean, there's only 3 people in this entire match that had any chance of winning.
Rick Martel. Then you got Bret at the famed number
which is
27
Bret,
spot.
Shawn, and Lex.
Yep.
Yeah.
The only 3 people that had any
Fatu,
chance of
Marty, and Adam Bomb to finish out the lineup. That's sad. Savage, had they...
Yeah, Savage, you would have loved for him to go further, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Good. Where's the smart marks at? All right. Fuck you.
I think it's time we smark it up. So what are some of the best moments of this show? I really liked the faking the crowd out with the IC thing. Giving IRS the win and then being like, nope, don't think so.
Pay your taxes, people.
Yeah. The, the Bret Owen stuff, of course. Bam Bam Bigelow's Tatanka match was a really great start of the show. Like, it was really good.
Super Taker Natural.
Yeah, I mean, the take...
That's the best thing on this show.
Yeah, the first 4 matches are really good, and it all worked. What's also funny is that, like, basically everybody is in the Rumble, too. It's just like, oh, I guess we need to build stars. And it's kind of funny that Diesel is built, but it's crazy that they didn't think that he would become a person people noticed after this with what they did.
Yeah, I mean, everything that I've seen is like literally I think his contract was about to run up and they weren't planning on...
They booked him to murder everyone.
Renew it. But once again, you have to look at who he eliminated.
I know.
And then...
But the Macho Man won to top it off after all those other guys. And it's not like people didn't know who those other guys were.
Well, actually, Crush, I think, eliminated Macho Man.
Oh, okay. Well, shit. Well, if they really wanted to get Diesel extra over and put out Macho Man.
But he probably would have gotten booed then.
Good point.
Any other favorite moments?
I mean, this is a good show. Like, I think this is
I enjoyed show. Even though I didn't love the Rumble, I thought it was still a good show. I mean, the undercard works perfectly for me.
Yes.
And even though the Rumble is plotting, there are still good moments in it.
Yeah.
It's just the end, 10 minutes of that match is just very okay, let's speed this up.
But I feel like that I get that feeling earlier in most Rumbles than I did in this one, and that's my caveat.
But it's not usually 5 minutes between, after everyone is in the ring. And they usually don't have 13 people in the ring.
I don't know. It feels like there's always 13 people in the ring. But maybe I just remember differently. I don't know. I thought this Rumble moved nicely.
It moved until about 23. And then it just slowed to a snail's pace.
Yeah, but I feel like it slows earlier. Is my
Well, usually they do the snail's pace in the middle, and then they speed it back up at the end, which makes it better.
Yeah, I guess so. But I think that I was just happy to have not gotten slow in the middle. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I enjoyed it for what it was, even though we know that there was only 2 guys that really could have won.
Guys.
3 potentially.
Sean.
Yeah, Sean. Yeah, there's 3 guys that would have won, but I don't know. I thought that it moved well enough for me personally.
Yeah, I'll have Marty just dress up as the Spirit of the Taker and maybe give him a shot.
Yeah, put him in his Max Moon gear.
How about most disappointing? I mean, I think I've kind of expressed all mine.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks that 2 guys won, but whatever. If it means that Bret goes on and Lex leaves, I don't care.
I feel like it leads to an interesting
yeah.
thing that they do.
It's a cool idea. It just always kind of sucks when something is a draw. You know what I mean? Just because you want a winner. But I'm not mad at it because I get it. But, if I went to a Royal Rumble, I want somebody to win.
Yeah.
So I could see that being disappointing, but it also sets up an immediate feud with the 2 guys. So I'm like, all right, well, I want to see Lex versus Bret Hart on the next pay-per-view. So it does that thing where it's okay, well, we want the pay-per-view to finish storylines, and then we want and then build to the next one. But this one sets up a lot of stuff, but it does it in a really good way. So it's not bring me to WrestleMania.
Anything else?
I mean, this is a good show.
I mean, for me, anytime you have to throw Jack Tunney in there, it takes away a little more of my joy when you already have...
That's so small. Tunney just came out because somebody had to do something. And Fink doesn't have Fink can't call it. He's just doing what he's told.
He'll be gone soon enough.
I just don't like him. So yeah, he's my most disappointing. He was always just.
That's a pretty good,
like
most
being
disappointing considering.
A kid and the president was on TV. It was the most horrible thing ever, and it was the same thing with wrestling. When Jack Tunney was on TV, you knew you just had to suffer through it until it was over, because then you wouldn't see him again for 6 months.
How about best performer of the night? Is it Owen?
Owen,
Bret?
Bret's selling of the leg for
I
the
mean,
whole night.
Here's the thing about Bret is that he literally limps out to the ring.
Yeah.
And he gets beat up when he first gets in the ring, and then he literally doesn't do anything until the final 4.
Yeah, but he sells the leg the whole time, which that's nice.
Yeah.
He doesn't like forget about the leg after he gets in there and just start like powerhousing people.
Well, definitely. I mean, he wouldn't have done that even if he was healthy. 'Cause
Yeah.
Bret fucking Hart. So, anything surprising?
I know that Undertaker like ascends to heaven, but it took fucking
That
every
was
heel.
so well done.
Well, that it was well done, but that it took every heel to do it. So it's like, okay, well, this just turns Taker into a superhero, and he already was one.
But it's like Marty of all people
12,
with that job.
Yeah, 12 guys, 12 fucking guys,
I mean,
12 huge heels.
Technically, does that make the best performer the production crew for WWF?
I mean, honestly, for that match, like, because that could have been done. That could have like been fucked up so easily, and it wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
It was perfect. It was legitimately perfect. All the package of Yoko being scared of the Taker is so good, and then his reaction in the show is just like, oh, like it really makes him a threat so big that needs every fucking heel above 6 feet.
I'm actually going to go back to most disappointing for a second. I do feel like having that many heels come out and help him
That was
win the match.
It turned into another Rumble.
I feel like it actually stole some of his heat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little too much sure. I think that 4 guys should have done it.
It did literally superpower Undertaker.
Yeah.
Which I get.
That's what they were doing.
But it does steal a little bit of Yoko's heat.
Yeah, it does. I feel like that it should have been like 4 guys maybe, but like they just kept coming,
I mean,
and I was like, this is ridiculous. But then at that point, I just had a smile on my face.
So basically, the story going into the show is that like Crush, Tenryu, and Kabuki have been brought into their faction, whatever you want to call it at that point, basically helping you. Like if it had just been them 3 come out and helped, I think it would have been fine.
I feel like it should have been enough.
But like once they just start bringing in like random people like Jeff Jarrett,
Crush, Atom Bomb,
and Atom Bomb, it's like
it's a little much.
We're just throwing every.
It's a little.
We're just literally throwing every heel in the business.
It's kind of like they planned this for the Undertaker to come back as like the strongest thing on the planet, but they didn't plan that for Diesel, even though they still fed him all those guys. It's kind of like, well, okay, like.
But back to most surprising. The Diesel thing is surprising, just for the sheer fact that he had been doing nothing.
Yeah, you made a star in fucking 30 minutes.
I still don't think they did it intentionally.
I don't know. It seems crazy that that's not intentional to me still. I understand your point, but it still seems crazy to me that they didn't plan it. That there wasn't a plan. But, I mean, how could it be if it was not doing anything until then? Maybe it was another test. If this guy puts 10 guys over the fucking ropes and doesn't get a cheer, then we're just going to cut him loose.
I think that's probably...
Yeah. And they got a bigger reaction than they thought they were going to get, for sure.
Making their way to the ring!
It's trivia time! This week, the category is Music of the Mat.
Hit my music!
Break it down!
I will play the theme song of a wrestler. Guess it correctly for 3 points. So you're going to want to be quick on those buzzers.
So we buzzing or yelling?
You want to buzz. Here we go. Shane?
Johnny be back.
That's correct.
I know. I was like
I was struggling
generic
to hear
guitar
it
riff,
first.
and then I was like, and then they say it.
I told you you had to be quick.
I know. Here's that generic guitar riff. I was like, well, it's not Cobb County, Georgia, but it's not. But I was like, well, what is it? And then John.
So 3 more points for Shane. Next week, the night the line was crossed. Going to Philly for some ECW action.
Ooh. Is this like a full pay-per-view? We getting into like a pay-per-view recap? We getting into 2 days, 2 matches, handicam 24 or 2 days, 24 matches? Like, what's the show like?
TV?
No, it's an actual supercard pay-per-view type show.
On the network?
On the network.
All right, cool.
In Philly.
That's right. So the music from this week's show, I'm literally just going to play the theme from the Royal Rumble at the beginning and the end because that's technically what they did in the arena.
You play the Lex music
Because
and the
they
Bret
didn't
Hart music
have
at the
one
same
there.
time.
They played the Lex music.
Yeah, I know.
Then they played the Bret music.
Yeah.
And then after they decided that they both won, they played the Royal Rumble theme song as the credits went out.
Play all 3 at the same time.
I tried to mash them up, and it does not sound good.
I know. I thought that would be funny that it sounded bad. But, so, yeah.
Does it sound like angry American jazz? Or...
It just clashes so much. It's not even...
Yeah, it's just the brown note.
Because you have the tuba and horns from Stars and Stripes Forever with the electric guitar
riff.
and it was.
And then I don't remember what the actual Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't mix it into the
But I mean, hopefully we'll see Sabu. It's like a full ass good Sabu gnarly match. That's what I'm excited for.
What I've read about this show is literally the name is kind of spot on, and they named it even before all the reviews for the show came out.
This is like now we're ECW. Like this is where there's blood and tits and
the show that kind of put ECW that made people notice ECW.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna get at least 3 debuts of some people that we
know
who they are. I mean, it's not their debuts, but it'll be the debut for us.
It'll be the debut for them as the people we know them to be.
The main event is considered the match that kind of put ECW on the map.
Yeah.
So definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, put them in the bronze. Like if this was the Wrestling Olympics, Promotion Olympics, there was nobody at bronze, and now somebody's at bronze, and it's ECW.
If you like this episode or any of our other ones, please go out there and rate and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you find your podcasts at. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, recipes, we're going to Philly. We always give you some Philly.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fucking Budweiser, like just a tall can of beer. I don't know what we're gonna do with all these EC dubs.
You can always email us at WrestlingHistoryX@gmail.com, or you can always find us on Twitter at WrestlingHistoX. That's Wrestling HISTO.
X.
We'll talk to you next week.
Later.